Hello and welcome to my first YouTube video, a MiSTer FPGA first time SD card setup guide. All links will be referenced in the description. The best starting official point is the MiSTer Wiki, which provides all the latest information and files. Well worth spending the time reading through if you have yet to take the plunge, especially the buying hardware section. Before you start, you will need an SD card. I used a 32GB class 10 as I had this already, but any SD card should get you going, even the 8GB card you get with the D10 Nano. Size being dependent on what cores you want to run along with the ROM set you want to install. Also a USB card reader that will take the SD card, so you can plug it into your computer. Next we will need to head over to the page with the SD card installer download. Here we are on the Wiki First Time Setup page. This takes you through the system requirements to run the installer, which is Windows 10 64-bit. Scroll down and the latest SD card installer link is available under the Prepare the SD card section. Download the latest SD card installer, click link, and you are taken to a GitHub repository for the installer files. The latest release is at the bottom of the page. Click the file, then click on download on the next page you are taken to, and finally click on save. Go to your download folder and extract the RAR file with your favorite archive manager. I use 7-zip, but WinZip or WinRAR will provide the same service. Make sure you have your USB card inserted in your computer. Open the Unzip folder and double-click the MiSTer SD card utility. If you are not running under an account with administrator rights, you will have to provide the administrator password to the user account control pop-up. Safety-wise, best not to have any other USB drives connected, as we are going to wipe and install the SD card. I have nothing connected by USB while doing this, only the SD card, so only one drive is available in the drive selection box. Best to double check this before starting. Click wipe, yes to the pop-up box, OK. Your SD card has now been wiped. The wiki mentions that the installer may open multiple windows which will ask you to format the drive. If this happens, press cancel in all windows. This has never happened on any of my installs. Now click full install, yes to the pop-up box. And finally on OK. After full install, your SD card will show up as a MiSTer_data, fully configured to boot your MiSTer. You could follow the rest of the wiki setup guide to manually update files and install a core, or the way I am going to show you that will update all files and download all cores from an internet connected MiSTer. So eject your SD card and insert it into your MiSTer. Before turning the MiSTer on, make sure it is connected by Ethernet cable to your home network and you have a USB keyboard plugged in. Let's now move over to the MiSTer for the rest of the guide. MiSTer will boot up to the screen that looks like an old TV not tuned to a channel. Press F1 on the keyboard to cycle the background to a better one. Next to the MiSTer text is the network connection icon, then the icon that informs you if you have additional RAM attached. The date and time is pulled from the internet. Do not worry if it is not totally accurate for your time zone. I will show you how to correct this in post-installation. As you can see, it is informing no files. Let's now move on and get everything updated. Press F12 on your keyboard. This brings up the screen that says scripts. Use arrow keys to highlight it and press enter. Highlight yes and don't ask again. This is just a warning about using scripts. Press enter. Highlight update, and when you press enter it will proceed to download all the cores and build the directory structure. It will take a while for the first time. It can be left unattended, as when you finish it, it will reboot and return to the startup menu, but will be much quicker in the future, as it will only download and update everything that's changed. I've shortened the update sequence of this process in post-production. After update and reboot, you will now have arcade, computer, console, other and utility directories containing all your cores, plus the scripts directory will have a lot more scripts. We are now going to configure your joystick. Make sure you have a USB controller plugged into the MiSTer. Press F12 on your keyboard to show the system settings. Define joystick buttons and press enter. Now with your pad in hand, press right on the D-pad. For the stick 1 tests, just press space, leave undefined. The same for stick 2, press space, leave undefined. On the screen that comes up now, just follow the on-screen prompts. Press right on your D-pad, left, down, up, A button, B button, X button, Y button, left shoulder, right shoulder, select and start. For all the mouse configuration, just keep pressing space, leave undefined. When you reach the screen for menu, I use an Xbox 360 controller, so I press the home button. If you don't have a home button on your controller, you can press start and select. With that finished, just press enter and your joypad or joystick is all confined. You will now find that you can go up and down. B button is back, A select, B back. Your home button is the equivalent of pressing F12 on the keyboard. When starting a core, press A and the default keys will briefly appear in the top left screen corner. Pressing the home button in the game will bring up the configuration for that game. Keys options can be changed along with the option to reset the game or reset back to the main menu. When the Ethernet cable is plugged in, the MiSTer gets its time and date from the internet. You will find the time could be an hour or so out. You need to let the MiSTer know what time zone you're in. This is very easy to correct. Go to the scripts directory and run the time zone script. It will automatically select your time zone. Press any key to continue and everything should now be good. One last thing to check is the screen resolution. The MiSTer defaults to 1280 by 720 on install. This can be changed by running the INI settings in the scripts menu. Press enter on the video mode. Highlight the resolution of your display and press enter, and it will be updated. Highlight cancel with the arrow keys, press enter, and you will quit back to the main menu. Hope the video has been helpful. Leave a like if it has. Also, please subscribe for future updates. The next video will be how to easily update all your arcade cores with the correct ROMs so that they will work.